John. I won't be as fast as Brendan. I'll use up Brad's time, so we'll all have fun. Stratford is a city of 32,000 people. At various times in our history, we've been at crossroads that's had us reinvent ourselves. And the opportunity to reinvent ourselves in the broadband economy is one that I don't think any community can pass up, let alone ours. We have a number of challenges. First of all, our population is above the median age for the province. Our growth rate was below the provincial average. And we were starting to really become a community of retirement, a community where young people left and didn't return. It's tough to entice manufacturing, agriculture, food processing, skilled services, and of course ICT to a community that had all those challenges. But through a 1997 strategic plan, and we've all done those in our organization, but we actually dusted ours off and actually followed it. But in 1997, the city of Stratford struck out to say, okay, we're not happy with the lot we have in life. What are we going to do? Three important things came out of it. One, we wanted to become a community of excellence with worldwide impact that was dramatically different. We didn't want to be just like every other community. Two, we wanted to embrace ICT, information, communications, and technology, and to make sure that we linked ourselves to the emerging marketplace that we were seeing take off, not only in Waterloo, but around the world. And three, we wanted to make sure that we adopted a post-secondary education, so education being strategic to the development of our future citizens and the current ones. What have we done on that? Well, in 1999, many communities across our province had the opportunity, over 440 of them, had the opportunity to sell off their hydro assets. A city of 32,000, we went out and bought the assets of 6 other communities. Today, the dividends off of that strategic investment represent almost 5% of our tax levy offset because we did that. Now, why did we do it? Well, if you're going to be an ICT in the future, secure, reliable transmission of hydroelectric power is what's going to drive ICT investment in the future. We all know what power hogs we are today, but through energy and innovation and conservation, it's going to become even more strategic who has the ability, and pardon the pun, the bandwidth to deal with it. 2, bandwidth. We took the assets of that company and we started to take our dividend, I should say, and invest it. We created a fiber optic loop around our community of over 70 kilometers, created a spine that runs throughout the city, and now we have ourselves completely linked. And we go back into international markets through London and Kitchener. So we have 2 different redundant transportation networks back into major markets around the world. Why did we do that? We had Scotiabank there in Stratford, former National Trust. They have their National Mortgage Centre there. They have their National Loan Centre for Automotive there. We now have Royal Bank of Canada's National Data Centre, 400,000 square feet, $400 million in Stratford. Came there because we had hydroelectric redundant power using smart technology so that we had smart switches to ensure that it was reliable and redundant. We had the fiber optic network and the security to international markets in a redundant fashion. We put a lens on, and all the decisions we make in Stratford now are about the future and using ICT, broadband connectivity for our social and economic development. And we do that, you start to think of the best practices you're going to find, as Brad mentioned. And you see them at these conferences, you read them in books, you learn about them at restaurants and dinners, but you come home and you implement them. So when the province of Ontario said everybody needed to put a smart meter in their property in the province of Ontario, we decided we weren't going to use yesterday's technology. We weren't going to put a smart meter in that used a 900 megahertz radio, and we weren't going to put a smart meter in that used today's technology with a cellular chip. We put in smart meters that actually use a Wi-Fi network, and the city went out and partnered with Motorola, and we've now created what I call the living lab. Motorola put out 300 access points across our community. So we now have a complete Wi-Fi network over top of our city that we use primarily for our data collection for smart meters. But much like Brad did, we created that big pipe, and now we use the rest of it for people, for digital literacy, to get on the web, to visit websites. We created our own internet service provider in the city of Stratford with a 3Ps partnership with the private sector. And we've now started to force people to get on the web and to get digital literate, to actually help us develop the brand of Stratford being a digital literacy community. We've gone out to RIM, and we had a pilot project, and it's still underway in Stratford. Instead of having a typical thermostat that all houses have to have in Ontario that allows you to see your energy consumption by next year, we actually have RIM playbooks on those walls in those homes. Those people can see the energy they use up to the second they're using it, but they can now go on the net and turn that thermostat into a gateway to the world, into information. We're getting people, seniors, youth, different socioeconomic levels on the web, teaching them what they can do. Stratford is the first community in 2010 in the country to host our whole election online. No paper ballots. You wanted to vote in Stratford, you had to be able to go and use the internet. And if you didn't have a computer at your house, you could go to any one of the community centers or the library to use it. Because we're going to walk the walk and talk the talk. The University of Waterloo Stratford campus just opened last week. It's the School of Digital Media. It's the coming together of humanities, science, business, and technology, creating the content for the future economy. That's a $2.2 trillion marketplace by 2020. And we've decided that if we are going to have post-secondary education, we are going to make wise investments and make sure that we are doing what is going to be relevant in the future economy. And digital media, content, and how we consume it is going to be very important. We've partnered and created, as I said, a living lab. We have invited companies in from around the world to use our Wi-Fi network and our technology to prove out their concepts and products. Toshiba's there now with their LED lights that dim up and down based on ambient light, that use a Wi-Fi network and can be controlled by police cars or dispatchers, and they can actually start to use that. That's there. We've had Cisco in with their telepresence. We now offer the opportunity for Cisco telepresence in various community facilities so that if you went to the wrong building and you wanted to see a staff member about a problem in the clerk's office, you didn't have to get in your car and go somewhere else. We've worked with Interoperability Canada. Jim Peter Safar is here. We created a network, a secure network that we piloted to show that our police, fire, and ambulance, along with other public sector institutions and private business where necessary, can get together on a secure channel and share data in emergency situations. Those are just some of the examples of what a small community of 32,000 can do when they put the lens of ICT and moving their community forward. Stratford has finished in the top 7 the last 2 years in the Intelligent Community Forum. Hell, we even finished ahead of Chongqing, China at 32 million, who finished in the top 21. We didn't do it because it's just one visionary. We did it because we've changed the attitude of the citizens. We've given them a vision and hope, and we continually and relentlessly push them towards it each and every day. Many of them will think it's a tap and that you should turn on the economic engine because you said it would happen, but you have to believe that you need to keep pushing those people and make sure that they're tolerant, and it starts with Brad's national strategy in ICT and broadband connectivity. If a community can't get on the web, they can't move forward. Thanks very much.